Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt, and on today's episode, yes, I finally did it. I finally watched it. We're here reviewing it. Clone Wars, The Lost Missions, Season 6. Now, let me explain myself because it's taken me a long time. I think it's been like a year since I last reviewed the last season, the Season 5 of Clone Wars, and I took a very, very long break. And the thing is I started the Lost Missions right after Season 5. But the thing is, Season 5 ends with losing Ahsoka, and then in Season 6, it begins with losing Fives. And Fives was my favorite of the clones, and it's just like, it was tough. It was really hard to watch that. It was a little too emotional, so I had to pause a little bit, and I just got busy and never turned it back on. But you know what? I finally turned it back on. So here we go, starting with, of course, the loss of Fives. I think that I think 4 episodes with the clone troopers kind of figuring out, not really figuring out, but Fives really figuring out Order, I think 66 is it. I probably got that wrong. I know I'm going to get roasted in the comments if I did, but oh well. Kind of discovering it and realizing that all of the clone troopers have been actually having these nightmares about killing the Jedi that they're following. And so I think it's interesting that they're present enough to know about it in a way, but just pass it off as just a nightmare or whatever, even though all of them have it, and you know something suspicious is going on. And I like that Fives took the initiative to go out and try and figure something out, whether to, try to expose the secret, if there is a secret for it to expose, or to stop it if it ever is supposed to happen, figure out if it's a real thing. And I think that it was just tough seeing that, especially after the Ahsoka stuff, because to me, Ahsoka was just the heart of the whole series. And now that we don't have her, to immediately go in and lose Fives, who was a clone trooper that we have known since Season 1 and have grown to really care about. Fives, Rex, all of those guys, they're the number 1, 2, 3s of the clone troopers, really. And so it's definitely tough to see, especially to see Rex and the other guys kind of have to really track them down and be the death of them, which is very, very sad. But then we go straight into this Rush Clovis stuff, which, I don't care about Rush Clovis. I don't care about the banking clan. I do think that it definitely shows just how corrupt the Republic and the Resistance, or whatever they call it, I forget already, geez. I mean, really, to me, the only reason that those episodes stand there where they are is to show us that Anakin is also the future Darth Vader. Because in the series, we really grow to like Anakin, and even though he has his issues with temper management and all that kind of stuff, he is the hero of the series. And so I think that it was kind of good to cast him in a really bad light, this weird, jealous, uncontrollable anger kind of light that we were shown in the Rush Clovis episodes, especially dealing with Padme, who totally deserves better than Anakin. I'm sorry. And at first I did not like that at all, but as I grew to think about it, I think it was needed, because without those episodes, I don't think that you can just easily go and watch Revenge of the Sith and have it be believable that they're the same, they're in canon together. So I do think it was needed for sure. And also it was nice to see Padme again, even though I don't really like what they did with her. The fact that I liked how she was standing up to Anakin and, being we need to take a break because this is a little much right here. But in the end of those episodes, she was just no, Anakin, you're right. I'm so sorry. I should trust you, blah, blah. I'm just okay, no. Yeah, he might have been sort of right about the Rush Clovis, not even completely right about it, but he was still a complete asshole. So maybe you should still take a break. And then for some unknown reason, we get Jar Jar Binks episodes, which I'm just so impressed with the Clone Wars to actually stick with Jar Jar Binks throughout the entire season. Not even the movies did that. Literally, he was so prevalent in the first movie, and then he had 2 lines in the second movie, and he literally just had a couple shots of him in the third one. So props to Clone Wars to actually take a risk and do that. Apparently it's popular with the kids or something. I don't really think so. I don't know anybody who likes Jar Jar Binks, and I was a kid when those came out. But what I will say is these were probably the least annoying of Jar Jar Binks that has happened throughout the series. I like pairing him with Mace Windu just because Mace Windu just wants none of his crap, and I think that's funny. Even though I really hate at the end when Mace Windu was like, "Oh, I think Jar Jar Binks is all because of him that this was possible." I'm like, okay. And also, Jar Jar Binks has like a mysterious lover who like is I. That threw me for a loop. That was a plot twist that M. Night Shyamalan wrote because no one was going to think that. And I do actually like the fact that they brought in the Night Sister, like the Supreme Night Sister, and kind of like really tied up that thread in a way, just because we don't ever see the Night Sisters in any movies. And so I think it was kind of nice that we just didn't leave that hanging and be like, well, where is that Supreme Night Sister that, was saying all that stuff? And so it was nice that tied in, because you were just like, what does this have to do with anything that we've ever seen in this series? And then she pops up. You're like, oh, okay, I get it, okay. But once again, of course, Jar Jar Binks is the character that does all the right things by accident, and I absolutely hate that. I do not like it when characters do that, where they're like, they fall when they're trying to do something and it actually makes things better. I don't like that. I just think that's so stupid, and it makes for false heroes. That's what it does. And Jar Jar Binks is a false hero who has a very sad story after the war because of the whole Palpatine becoming the Emperor thing. Read up on that if you haven't. It's just so sad. So overall, I mean, the Jar Jar Binks stuff was probably the stuff I was least interested in. The Rush Clovis stuff was probably the stuff that was hardest to get through on like a boring level. So the middle really was a little choppy there, in my opinion, but it bookends really nicely. Of course, we're starting with the 5 stuff, which is very powerful, even though it was hard to watch. And then all of the stuff with Yoda at the end, learning how to, eventually become a Force ghost, is really great. I loved that. I really did. I think it was really smart to end the series on Yoda, considering we started the series with Yoda episodes. And also this idea that, the Jedis could possibly think that he was being taken from the dark side, and it really shows all of this miscommunication in a way, and also a lot of mistrust because no one knows, and everyone is getting all this information now that the other side is so much more powerful than they even think. And I think the Yoda stuff is the stuff I was most interested and most like attached to in the whole Lost Mission season. I think that it's definitely a perfect segue into Revenge of the Sith. And what I really liked about the episode is it was a little creepy, especially with like oh God, I forget exactly what they call themselves, but those sister like ghost things that look like they're from Studio Ghibli. Those things were like, when they first get introduced, they're a little freaky and like a little like, if a kid watched this, they would probably be scared, I would think. I loved it. I wish it would have been even creepier. Because I feel like that's just a funny way to deal with like the light side of the Force and becoming a Force ghost, and being able to do that is to go through these really freaky stuff. I enjoyed the trials that Yoda had to go through. I liked also the sort of like Easter egg of going into that swamp planet that we find Yoda in the original trilogy. And also it shows that, he doesn't tell anybody, and he tells R2-D2 not to tell anybody where he goes. And so it makes sense that, Anakin wouldn't be able to go find him once he's Darth Vader with the Emperor, and how R2-D2 kind of can figure out where to go as well, and why it's so familiar to him in the original trilogy, which I think there's some stuff about that in there, but it's been a while since I've seen the original trilogy, so maybe I should rewatch that. Now, as a series as a whole, I really enjoy Clone Wars. I don't think it does the complete job of sewing all of the weird, I would say, incontinuity between the Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith movies, because I feel like there's such a weird jump there, especially with Anakin becoming sort of the Darth Vader that we know at the end of Revenge of the Sith. I think it does a little bit of the job. I would say about 60% of the job, but I still think there's 40% that should have been explored more. And also, I kind of wish they would have touched a little bit more on Anakin just having such emotional impulsivities. which they do, of course, but I wish they would have actually addressed the fact that his emotions and everything is so impulsive, and he doesn't think anything through. And I definitely think they tackled that he doesn't think anything through stuff, but I just don't know. I still don't see Anakin being able to murder those children. Like, I just don't. That to me is just like so insane. That is insane that they wrote that in, and then they had the audacity not to even like really give us a good reason why. I know he's going over to the Sith side, but if you're going to present him as being this good kid in the first movie, like this really good kid who has like all great intentions, to being sort of a smart aleck teenager in the Attack of the Clones, then don't have him. It's just like, to me personally, I feel like the prequels, while I get why they were a trilogy, probably should have spanned over like 5 movies, and really taken the time to like psychologically delve into Anakin's mind and how he became it. And also maybe cast someone different. I would have liked to see Matt Lanter in the role. Matt Lanter does a great job voicing Anakin in the Clone Wars series and movie, but I think he also would have been a great Anakin Skywalker. Plus, he's super hot. And while I don't think Hayden Christensen is like the worst person ever, I mean, he has no charisma in these movies. Absolutely none. And to be fair, I've never seen him in another movie, so he might be better in others. I know he doesn't act too much. Also, I mean, with Natalie Portman, there's zero chemistry between the two of them, which I talked about in depth in the Attack of the Clones review that I did last year. Yeah, well, so I'm not going to talk much more about that. But I do think that the animators and everything did their job enough, and it definitely sows the seeds of like the distrust that Anakin has with the Jedi Council and everything, especially with the Ahsoka stuff. Fives, I think, was also a lot to deal with, and it's just, I wish they would have done more of that throughout the series. I really do. And I do think that the Lost Missions really suffered from not having Ahsoka in it. Like, they have a little snippet of her in the Yoda stuff in like one episode, but I mean, obviously she can't finish the series there. She had to leave at some point because she's not in Revenge of the Sith. But I don't know. I would have liked to have seen her some more, just because she's the best character in the whole series. She really is, especially growing from somebody that you really don't like that much in the movie to being like a fan favorite, one of the best female characters in Star Wars, if not the best. I really do think Ahsoka Tano is the best female character in all of Star Wars. And that's why I'm excited to eventually watch Rebels. I think I probably won't start that for a while until I have a lot more free time, or really until I can get all of the seasons, because I'll probably have to buy them all, and I'm not rich at all. I'm broke, is what I am. But overall, I really liked it. I liked the animation style. It threw me for a loop, like the first couple episodes of the first season, but I really got used to it. I think it's going to be a little weird changing over to the Rebels animation style, because it's definitely different, but I'm sure I'll get used to seeing it like that. Other than that, I hope you guys like the series. I hope you're proud of me for finally finishing it. I mean, round of applause for me, right? Also, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos Monday through Friday. I'm back on. I'm going to be filming a whole bunch today, so that way I don't miss any days like I had been. But sorry, I've been crazy busy. I've had some weekend stuff to do that's really taken up. My schedule's been so crazy at work. So I'm back on, I swear. Ish. I'm sure I'll miss a day or two. Anyway, also don't forget to comment down below what do you think about the Lost Missions. Also, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.